Now, the influential US Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says Israel will have to accept a two-state solution if it wants to normalize ties with Saudi Arabia. Speaking to NBC News, the staunch critic of President Joe Biden praised the administration's efforts to push for a normalization deal between Israel and Riyadh.
To my friends in Israel, you do whatever you think is best for the state of Israel, but I can tell you, Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries cannot normalize with Israel if they're having been seen as throwing the Palestinians under the bus. We have two choices: continue the death spiral or use October 7th as a catalyst for change. I think the Arabs are going to demand some form of two-state solution to recognize Israel. I think Israel's going to demand security buffers different than before, and they need to make those demands. I don't know how this ends, but I'll tell you this. If we don't get this right this time, we're talking about another generation of just tit-for-tat death.
Let's get more on this from Shia Britanzi, our correspondent, who's following events for us in Washington, D.C. And Shia, it has to be said that this is a bit of a departure in terms of sort of Republican talking points, isn't it?
And it's quite instructive to look at how Graham got to this departure, this tough love, saying, oh, look, you know, we support you, but this may not be popular, but, you know, you have to accept a two-state solution. Because actually that interaction on that program began with the question of, is Israel doing enough to limit civilian deaths, though, Senator? And you could see, I was watching Graham kind of gulped, because clearly there is no justification for what's going on in Gaza. And he said, I would hope they could do more. But then he did what everyone in the Biden administration is doing too. He immediately then says, but let's talk about the day after, this pivot to the future, the day after. Don't talk about today. Because, of course, everything that's being done today is being done with American support, American green light, American weapons. So let's talk about the future. And that's where then there's that element of criticism, partly because Netanyahu himself has completely destroyed the narrative edifice of the American foreign policy establishment here by saying, no, we never were interested in giving the Palestinians a two-state solution. We were never going to do that. I never wanted to do that. And, of course, this is what the Palestinians have been saying for ages. This is what impartial observers have been saying for ages. The narrative, oh, Clinton at Camp David, you know, Arafat walked away, blah, blah, blah. It was all complete nonsense. And it's all being admitted now. So they're scrambling. That foreign policy establishment is scrambling. So they're saying, look, you see, we are being critical about Israel here. We're saying, look, you should at least get a two-state solution sometime in the future. This doesn't mean that they're not going to continue to unconditionally support Israel, but in the same way that Biden last week was saying, look, this is about PR. It's about public opinion. And if you see it as too intransigent, you're going to lose public opinion. That's the main issue